Hello, everyone, and welcome to our track and field virtual banquet. I believe this is the first ever track and field virtual banquet in Oconomowoc High School history, and fingers crossed that it's also the last. So, really, the bulk of this is going to be celebrating our seniors. But before we get to that, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to the coaches as well as the athletes. So, coaches, I know some of you are watching this. I greatly appreciate the work that you did going into this season, as well as the work you did our first week and into the situation that we are currently in. You all did a great job of staying connected with our athletes during this situation, making sure they still had workouts to do, and giving them some sense of normalcy in a pretty uncertain time. To the athletes, I also want to say thank you for putting in work, even though it was very uncertain, and continuing to put in work, even though the season was canceled. A lot of you have learned some great lessons through this experience that will help you be better people in the future. And one of those lessons, hopefully, that you take away, and this is for underclassmen as well as seniors, is many things in life are about the journey, not the destination. Now, what does that mean? It means it's more about the process, the person you become during the process, the memories you make, the relationships you build, and the skills you develop. It's not necessarily about the destination or the outcome. Many of you thinking now about the seniors, many of you coming into track and field your freshman year, you may have had the goal of finishing your track and field career competing at UW La Crosse, right? That was the destination you had set. But sometimes there's things that are outside of our control that change the destination, end our journey a little earlier, and there's nothing you can do about it. What you can do is make sure that you put everything possible into making the most out of that journey. We have 14 seniors that we're celebrating today, and all of you have put a lot into the journey. And I want you to reflect back and focus on the person you've become through high school athletics, and don't focus on missing out on some of those opportunities. It's all right to feel sad that you're missing out on those, but you've all become really good people. We're very proud of you, and a lot of you are going to go off and do some great things. And we're excited to see what you do. So as I said, this banquet is to celebrate the seniors, and that's usually our focus even when we're in person. But I felt like it was important to make sure that we sent the seniors off in the right way. Spring athletic banquets are a little different than fall and winter because it truly is the last banquet for senior athletes. And this is really a celebration of your whole high school athletic career, not just track and field. Many of you competed in other sports, cross country, football, basketball, many sports. And this is a celebration of everything you've done as an athlete, but also, as we're going to see, many of you have done some great things academically and are going off to some pretty impressive colleges. Some of you are continuing to compete in track and field, which is awesome. Some of you are going to go right into the workforce, and a couple of you are going to go serve our country by joining the military. No matter what you're doing, just know that you have a bunch of fans here in Oconomowoc that are cheering you on. And if you come back at the end of May, whether you're coming back from college coming back from boot camp, you're still around the area because you're working in the area, feel free to swing by the track, see some familiar faces, and talk about some of the memories. Get started here. We're going to celebrate our two senior field athletes, Garner Simmons and Nathaniel Sitzberger. You'll hear from Coach Ryerson. Coach Ryerson, this was going to be his first year helping with the girls and the boy throwers, and we were very excited about our throwing coaching staff was really going to combine and work together with the girls staff as well, Coach Leo, Coach Ryerson, and Coach Wiesman. So first up here we have Gardner Simmons. Gardner, 3-year track athlete, didn't come out for his junior year, but we were very excited to have him back and see what he could have done for his senior year. So Coach Ryerson here talking about Gardner.
Hello, I am Coach Ryerson, the Ocon throws coach. I'm new. This is my first year. I was hoping to meet a lot of you guys during the season, but of course, Corona happened and we can't. But I'm here to talk about two individuals that I was really excited for in the beginning of the season, Gardner and Nathaniel. They really, both of them impressed me before the season even started, but I'll kind of go through each of them, talk about them as we go through. First, with Gardner, I first met him through football. I was real excited because I was an offensive lineman back in my high school days, and when I see a large man that pushes kids around really well, I get excited, especially when track season comes along. But football, I was really impressed with him. I was like, I hope I can get one of these guys at least to come out for throws and I can develop them into something really solid. But then what really impressed me was the step he took going into wrestling. When I worked a couple of wrestling meets, I saw Gardner, and he looked like a complete different person. He trimmed down, looked like he got stronger, and I was really excited to see what I could do with him in track. The last time, the best he threw for shot was a 3.29, and that was 2 years ago. With just 1 week of practice, I guarantee he could have crushed it and do really well on it. But with that said, we could go over what could have happened and what might have happened during the season. But I know the way I interacted with him during the year, he can do anything that he wants to put his mind to. I can tell the future for him is going to be bright, and that he can accomplish many good things, and he will accomplish many good things as time goes on. With just the determination he had on the 2 full sports seasons I've seen him, he can accomplish many great things as time goes on, and it's going to be really exciting to see what he can actually do with that.
And next up for senior field event athletes, we have Nathaniel Sitzberger. He as well was a 3-year track athlete. His first year was his sophomore year. And one thing just to mention with Nathaniel here, he is actually just yesterday started boot camp as he's committed to joining the U.S. Marines. And he is going to make us very proud. He's a very committed, hardworking individual, and he's going to do great things as he moves forward in life and is already doing great things.
And the last student athlete I'm going to talk about is going to be Nathaniel Sitzberger. He is a strong character that can do anything that he puts his mind to also. And it really showed me throughout the year that he can do a lot of things, starting with football. He played my position in high school center, and he did everything we asked him to and did it well. And then throughout the winter and in the spring semester, he popped in my classroom because he's taking AP Physics online, and I could help him with that. So I got to interact with him quite a bit. Really strong-willed kid, can do a lot of things. I can tell you how last year he threw 37 feet. I guarantee you this year he would probably broke that 40-foot mark and maybe even push it even higher, possibly competing for state. Um, but the one thing I am truly impressed is just his work ethic, and it's going to take him a long way. One big pet peeve of mine, honestly, when I was an athlete, which in college and high school, I hated these end of the year get-togethers, banquets, whatever you call them, because I always hated just reflecting back on previous accomplishments. I like to always think forward and what's the next step? What's the next step? He knows what the next step is for him. He talked to me his plans after high school quite a bit. I think right now he's in boot camp for the Marines. So he might not see this till later. Who knows? But he's got his head on straight. He knows what he wants to do, and he's going to keep moving forward. I'm really excited to see what he's going to be doing with the years to come. It'll be really interesting to see what can he accomplish being so well driven like he is.
And as a typical thrower, his favorite track memory there is eating a whole Rocky's pizza by himself. And moving on now to the senior sprint athletes. So the sprint athletes here, these are a group of guys that competed in the 100, the 200, or the 400, but also competed in various field events. We got some high jumpers in here, some guys that competed in some long jumping, and even some an athlete that competed in the throws as well as doing the sprints. And we have some hurdlers in there. So you'll hear from myself as I really focus on the 100 and the 200 athletes. And then Coach Storzine as well. We'll talk about a couple of the guys that ran the 400 and did some hurdles. So first, Eric Burrow, 2-year track athlete. And it's been a pleasure to get to know Eric over the last year and a half. The thing that I love about Eric is his personality, and he's very optimistic. And we talked about, in this current situation, a lot of our athletes have done a very good job of looking for the positives in this situation and looking for the good that has come out of this situation. And that has always been what Eric does. Eric finds the positive, finds the good in situations. And you can see there, he's got a huge smile on his face in that photo. He's always bringing positive energy to the group. And you can just think, the way he came out for track, he was cut from the baseball team and came out for track. He sent me an email, said he wanted to be part of a team. And he wanted to try out track. So not only does this guy have a great attitude and he's optimistic, but he's also a pretty good track athlete too. So we were more than happy to have him join us. And then he came out for his senior year. He also, the memory that sticks out the most to me from Eric in terms of in track is I think it was conference relays, and we were having all kinds of issues with like our 4x2 handoffs. So that was always an interesting race. But I think we finally had a good handoff, and then I come to talk with the guys after their race, and it was pretty solid. So we were feeling pretty good, and Eric had just a huge scrape because I guess he fell after he got the handoff, but like he didn't even care about the huge scrape. He was just smiling like, hey, it was a good race, like super positive, just like Eric always is. And then the other thing is too, Eric finds the good, as I said, in all situations. And at the the beginning of this situation we're in, Eric sent me an email, and I think it was titled Positive Spark. And he was taking it upon himself to email out to teachers that he wanted to say something positive to make them feel good. And that's very much Eric in a nutshell. He's always looking to bring positive energy to any situation and spread that. So, Eric, it's been great getting to know you over this last year. Good luck in the future. Next up, we have Brandon Frosch. Brandon is a 4-year track athlete, and so his junior and senior year, he was really focusing on the 100 and the 200s with me. But before that, he was kind of more focused on the 400 meters. So just kind of shows his versatility there. And what I'll say about Brandon is he's a quiet worker, is the way I would describe him. He's always willing to put in the work, but you'll never hear him whine or complain about anything. The other part too is he's a multi-sport athlete, which we love to have on the track team. And everything I hear from his basketball coaches, and I see the basketball practices a lot. I see how those athletes interact with each other. I see how they are in practice, and I mean it was the same way from what I saw when he was in basketball. Because he was in basketball, didn't really get the chance to see him because our basketball team was still practicing into our first week. But I was really excited for him to become, a silent leader for our sprint group. Someone that shows up, does the work, does it the right way, and will never complain about anything. And will always take advantage of opportunities when he had them. And you can see their, favorite track memory, PR, and then the 200 meter, just taking advantage of those opportunities when they're there. So he's off to UW Whitewater. Best of luck to you, Brandon. Next up, we have Nick Heyer, another guy, 3-year track athlete, 100 meter, 200 dash guy, as well as he was a big part of our varsity 4x100 meter relay his junior year, and would have been a big part of our sprints squad this year. What I like about coaching Nick is he's a student of the event. And usually when we say someone's a student of the event, a lot of times we're talking about field events. Because in field events, you really want your athletes to focus on the technique. All right, in the throws, you want them to focus on the technique. You want them to learn about the technique and really be a technician. Same in the jumps. You don't really hear that much with sprint athletes because most people just assume you just run really fast. And if you're fast, you'll be fast. If you're not fast, you're not going to be fast. But Nick doesn't believe that, and neither do I. So that's why Nick and I got along and had such a great relationship. And I think why we saw a lot of improvement from Nick during his junior year. And I was very excited to see what he could have done with his senior year. And he's always eager to learn about sprint technique. We've had some really good conversations. He's one of those kids who really focuses in on drills. He'll listen to what I say and then he'll apply it. But then the other thing too is he's always helping the other athletes. He's coaching up the other athletes, which he did last year as a junior, and would have expected him to continue doing even into his senior year. So Nick's going to go off to, I believe, UNC Wilmington is his plans. He's also going to give track a shot there, try to walk on to their team there. So best of luck, Nick. Next up, we have Ethan Piber. Ethan's been a utility man for us on the track and field team. So I started coaching sprinters last year. Before that, I was the throws coach. So I've actually coached Ethan in track and field all 4 years because he started off throwing shot put and discus, and then his junior year last year transitioned over to doing some sprint work too. And this kid has just the drive to be the best that he can be. And he's never comparing himself to other people. He's just always trying to push himself to be the best that he can be. I've seen this from him on the track. I've seen it from him in the circle when we're throwing. And I've seen it from him in the weight room as well as on the football field. The other part too, he's always focusing on technique, very cognizant of what he's doing, and was just always taking advantage of the opportunities that he had. Last year he competed a lot in JV meets, but he was always dialed in, ready to go. He didn't look at it as, oh, I'm just in a JV meet. It was, no, this is an opportunity to show how much I've gotten better. And you can see there one of his highlights from his track career was his junior year at Muck when he helped anchor the 4x1 and then went and threw the shot put and PR'd right away. Just once again showing how he's that utility kind of man, that do it all, but that's because of the work and the effort that he puts into making himself the best he can be. So Ethan, we'll miss you. We'll miss your work ethic, but I know you'll do great things in the future, and you'll do a great job at UW Whitewater. Next up, we have Gage Ravel, a 4-year track athlete. You can see there he was part of our hurdles group. So Coach Storsveen is going to talk about him. I'd also like to say that Gage is planning on serving our country in the U.S. Marines as well. So I know he'll make us very proud.
Gage might be one of the hardest working athletes I've ever had the privilege to work with. While everyone else is sucking wind after a workout, Gage is asking if there's anything more that he can do. One more rep? Sure. Time for hurdle practice now? No problem. Plus, he has the added benefit of being a very coachable athlete. I've never once had Gage tell me that he couldn't do something that was asked of him. He put everything he had into every single rep, every single rest period, and every single race. I was really looking forward to working with Gage this year. And I emphasize the word with because Gage kind of established himself as a leader on the track within that first week. I was going to be coaching Gage in hurdles this year, and we have a lot of young athletes. And Gage kind of within that first week took it upon himself to kind of bring some of those athletes along, to talk to them, to demonstrate drills, to comment on their form. And he had their respect to do that because of his attitude when it came to practice, his attitude when it came to hurdles, his attitude when it came to track. So I was really excited for that. Gage was able to, not only that, but he would stay after practice a little bit longer and either work with other hurdlers or just do his own stretches, do his own drills. He wanted to get better every single day, and he made sure that whatever he was doing was moving him in that direction. Gage was going to have as much of a hand coaching these hurdlers this year as I was. And it's very rare as a coach to find an athlete quite like Gage. His hard work and determination are going to take him very far in life. Gage, I wish you the very best of luck in all of your future endeavors, and thank you for everything you've done for the Oconomowoc High School track team.
Next up, we have Daniel Schmidt, 4-year track athlete, really focused on the 100, the 200, and last year as a junior was a part of our varsity 4x200 meter relay. And what I enjoyed the most about Daniel and coaching Daniel is his joy for the sport. When a lot of people think about track and field, they don't really think about joy. They think about running a lot. They think about hard work. those are kind of what people focus on when it comes to track and field. But Daniel, man, this guy had a smile on his face every day at practice, as you can see there in his picture. And he really brought an infectious energy to the group. And his joy really showed through last year during indoor season. He had a little bit of a hamstring injury, so he couldn't do all of our workouts. But it wasn't, and I could tell it was eating away at him that he couldn't be sprinting. And he did a lot of work with our trainer, Jason Anderson, to get back as quickly as he could because he missed out on it that much. He just wanted to be out there with us, sprinting and getting better. So, Daniel, thanks for bringing your energy. Thanks for bringing that joy for sprinting to our group. We appreciate it. You'll do great things in the future. Best of luck. Next up, we have Ethan Stratman. So Ethan was a 4-year track athlete and was one of our team captains for the 2020 season. So first off, I just want to thank Ethan for all the work he did in the off season in helping prepare us for the season. I really asked a lot of our 3 team captains during the off season in terms of kind of creating what we wanted our track and field program to look like, how we wanted our athletes to act. And Ethan brought some great ideas to the table, and I know he would have done a tremendous job of leading our team this year. Ethan had a very successful junior year. You can see there a very solid 100-meter dash and was our best 200-meter runner last year. That 23:07 was a PR that he ran at the sectional meet. And he was also a big part of our varsity 4x100-meter relay. What I really enjoy about Ethan is his confidence. And when I say that, I don't mean that he's arrogant or he's cocky. It's not that kind of confidence. He has the confidence in his ability to improve and get better every day. So it's more about his confidence in the process and the belief that he can become better rather than that arrogance, that cockiness. And I say this because after every race, I'd come talk with Ethan, and he just never seemed satisfied. But it wasn't like, oh man, I could have done better. It was like, okay, I can do better the next time. It was always that positive outlook on what the next race could bring. Even after that sectional race in the 200-meter dash, he had a PR, ran great, competed well, but still afterwards was happy with the PR. But what he said was, next year I'll be back, I'll do better, I'm going to make it to state. And that was very much what I enjoyed the most about coaching Ethan. And not to mention, he's just got a great personality, great guy to be around, and really did a good job of leading our younger athletes last year. And I would have expected the same from him this year. So Ethan, thanks for all the work you did as a captain, but also thank you for being a joy to coach. Next up, we have Ryan Thenhouse. Coach Storzine will be talking about Ryan, as Ryan was a focus mainly on the 400-meter dash last year. This year was planning on doing a little bit more focus on the 100 and the 200, but then also competed on varsity as a high jumper last year for us as well.
Ryan. I had the privilege of coaching Ryan his junior year of track. That also happened to be his first year of track. Now, bittersweet in the sense that I was very thankful I got to work with Ryan, when I did, but also really wish that he would have been around a couple more years, because he would have been one of the ones that would be making a trip to UWL in June to compete at the state championships. I had that much confidence in his abilities after coaching him for 1 year. In his first year, Ryan ran the 400, he ran the 200, and he did some high jump. Now, the 400 program at OHS is pretty demanding for a first-year track athlete. It's not something that can be taken on lightly, but Ryan attacked it the way he attacks everything, with just a positive attitude and willing to put in the work and do what was necessary. And those skills caused him to be successful. Not only did he run the 200, 400, but he also took on the technical aspect, or the technical event of high jump, which I can tell you from experience is not an easy one to learn as a first-year track athlete. But Ryan took all those on, and he ended up being kind of a staple on our varsity high jump squad, as well as kind of intermixing with our varsity 200 and 400 groups, all in his first year of track. Now, part of that is athleticism, but I think an even bigger part is Ryan's attitude. Ryan has the right attitude to be successful in track. Track is all about the work you put in is what you get out of it. And Ryan put in the work, and he got out of it exactly what he put into it. I was really excited to see where that attitude and where that hard work and dedication were going to take him this year. I sensed great things from him, a huge boost in his performances from the previous year. And I also was just looking forward to working with him again in any capacity. He's a pleasure to be around. I had the privilege of having him in class, and just a very smart, tenacious young man, and just has all the right stuff to be successful in life. Ryan, I know whatever comes next in life for you, you're going to tackle it with the same sort of energy, the same sort of tenacity. You're going to tackle it like a champion. And I really appreciate that about you. I wish you the best of luck in anything that comes into your future. I'm confident that you're going to be successful, and I look forward to seeing kind of where you end up. So thanks, Ryan, for all you've done for OHS and the OHS track team.
So that wraps up our senior sprint athletes. Now wrapping up with our senior distance athletes, we have 4, and this is a group that, as a program, when we talk about the idea of the relentless pursuit of excellence, this is a group of 4 individuals that represent that relentless pursuit very well. 4 individuals that we will miss next year, but we know they're going to move on and do some great things after high school. Speaking about our distance athletes will be Coach Hero. First up, we have Cody Watoon.
Hi, I'm Coach Hero, and I get the pleasure of speaking about 4 distance athletes on the track and field team this year who are graduating in unusual circumstances. But the first up is Cody. Things are going to look a little bit different from my end this year. Normally you spend some time telling the audience or families how awesome you are. And I want to make it a little bit different this year. I want to talk to our 4 seniors and tell you or remind you how awesome you are. So Cody, first off, my first impression of you was at Neshota Park. You came to run with us as you were transitioning from Mugwanago to Oconomowoc, and as any coach would, was curious to see what kind of an impact you would have on our team. And little did I know that the impact that you would have on our team was huge, both in cross country and track and field. What an honor it was to coach you these past few years. My favorite race that I have of yours was at the conference outdoor meet as a junior. You were entered in the 2-mile for maybe the second time ever, and we expected to get some pretty big points out of that race, and you went into that race with a lot of confidence, and you ran a really nice time, and I remember you finishing and placing well and just being so excited for you. But I think the thing that you were most excited about that I saw on your face was excitement about helping the team. And that's something that you have been such a tremendous impact for us, not just your own individual talents, but your ability and your willingness to include those around you, whether it was helping out underclassmen or encouraging the upperclassmen as well. It's something that will tremendously be missed in the cross country and track and field team. We wish you the best of luck competing at Oshkosh. You know that we'll have a hope that you know that you'll have a bunch of followers back here in Oconomowoc. We look forward to the awesome things that you're going to continue to do. Thanks, Cody.
And Cade Kenyon.
The next athlete that I'm going to talk about is Cade. Cade and I have joked, as you remember this past year, a lot about how you have transitioned from the runner you were as a sophomore cross country to the runner that you are today. And a lot of that joking comes from, just to share with everyone else, there was a time when Cade was a sophomore and he was embarrassed that he got caught in the middle of a run, standing and not watching and not running. He was just taking a rest. And he felt so bad about it internally that he sent me an email later that night explaining that it was something that he would never do again. And how far you have come from that time, Cade, not just as a runner, but also that drive you have and your ability to exceed and excel in so many different facets of life, not just with running, but I hope that you know that so many of your teammates have looked up to you these past few years as a positive impact, as a positive member on our team, and how to handle all the different things that you juggle, and you juggle so well, whether that be work or academic or running or being part of the band. All of these things that you are involved with have made you such a fun person to be around, and not just from the other athletes and your peers, but know that as coaches, we have really enjoyed having you as part of our team as well. Besides all those things, your impact on our team, your willingness to do what has ever been asked of you and to do it with a smile on your face and to be such a positive influence on our team is something that we are not going to be able to replace very easily. We appreciate everything that you have done, Cade. We wish you the best of luck at Madison next year. And studying 4D math or whatever it is that you're going to be studying. We will miss you a lot. Thanks, Cade.
Next up, we have Noah Meisner. Noah was one of our team captains for this year, so I just want to give a thank you to Noah for doing a great job, as I talked about with Ethan Stratman earlier. The captains did a lot of work in the offseason and defining who we wanted to be as a team. Noah had a huge part in that. He put in a lot of extra time, and I appreciate all the work he did. And in general, this is a athlete that is a great leader, is going to do some great things.
The next athlete is Noah. Noah, I hope that you can take some time to recognize that you have perhaps played the largest role in changing the culture of specifically our distance program in such a positive way these past few years. There realistically had been little spots of positivity and success, but you have changed the culture around our distance program in such a positive way. And you did that because you are such a good person. Quite frankly, that's the best way I think that I can put it. You, deep down at your core, always look to help others. You go out of your way to make sure that people feel included. You go out of your way to make sure that you can help if somebody needs help. And you look to such an uplifting presence for other people as opposed to just looking out for yourself. You also provide such a great example on how to work hard and how to put in that work each and every day. You battled through some injuries, but you came out the other side. Such a tremendous competitor and such a tremendous athlete for the Ocon distance program. My favorite race of yours, I told this at the cross country banquet as well, but I think it perfectly describes how your dedication, your commitment as a runner was your senior year at the state cross country meet, a race that meant so much to you. And losing your shoe early on in that race really could have took a turn in a negative way. But your dedication and your commitment and your desire to do well and to help your team really shone through in the last 2 miles of that race. It was such a proud moment as a coach to see you fight and to see you continue to try your best and to not give in is something that I will not forget. No, I miss you so much. I hope that you do all great things when you go to compete at Bethel. You will have so many fans back here in Oconomowoc cheering you on and checking in to see how things go for you. Thanks, Noah.
And our last athlete, Alex Vance. You can see there he's got quite the list of accolades. That's why Coach Hero's video will pop up in a second. Last year, he was our team MVP as a junior, competed at the state meet where he set the school record in the 2 mile. But probably his best accomplishment, the one that we're most proud of, and I assume he's most proud of too, is being named one of 32 WIA Scholar Athletes. That award is given to 32 senior multi-sport athletes in the state of Wisconsin. And it's an award that really shows how committed and dedicated Alex is to being the best athlete, but also the best scholar that he can be.
Our last athlete is Alex. Alex, having placed in the state 2 mile and being on the podium for state cross country and all the numerous other awards that you have achieved through your running career, you are the most successful distance runner Oconomowoc has ever seen, and that's without a senior track season, which is incredibly impressive. Besides all those things, I think the most impressive award that I think that you have earned is the WIA Scholar Athlete Award. There are only 3 other boys in Division I who received that award, so that is something that you should be incredibly proud of as a testament and to your dedication in both academics but also in cross-country track and field. Besides all those positive things that you have done and those accolades that you have achieved, you have risen the standard of what it means to work hard for the Oconomowoc Distance Program. You have kind of broken through barriers and proven that you can work hard, or when you work hard, that good things are going to happen. You've kind of brought some of your classmates and some underclassmen along with you, and that is something that we will tremendously miss. Your lead by example attitude is something that we are never going to be able to replace. I hope that you can take some time to recognize that there are so many people, so many athletes, not only on our team, but on teams in our conference and teams around the state who look up to you as someone who is committed to the sport of running and who is such a great positive example and one of the most humble people that I've ever met. We wish you the best of luck completing for the University of Minnesota next year. It is going to be so much fun for us to follow along and see how you do. For everything that you've done for Oconomowoc, we absolutely appreciate it. Thank you, Alex.
So that wraps up our virtual banquet. Just want to say one last time, thank you to all the seniors for all the work you've done, whether you were going into your second year or this was going to be your fourth year. We appreciate the contributions that all of you have given to our program, and we wish you the best of the luck in the future. As for underclassmen, if you are watching this, we're real excited about what 2021 can look like.